The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical waterways, has become the center of a high-stakes standoff between the United States and Iran. The tension has reached a point where global trade, oil supply, and international shipping are all directly under threat. What began as a diplomatic and economic pressure campaign has now evolved into a full-blown crisis that could reshape the Middle East for decades to come. For years, Iran has used its geographic position along the Strait of Hormuz as its most powerful leverage over the global economy. Nearly every ship entering or leaving the Persian Gulf must pass through this narrow passage, flanked by Oman, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran. Tehran had long exploited this reality by pushing international carriers to route their vessels closer to Iranian islands, a move that would allow Iran to impose fees and maintain economic control over global shipping lanes. But President Trump's latest actions have directly targeted this leverage. According to analysts, Trump has effectively taken that tool off the table, forcing Iran into a defensive position it has rarely faced before. The U.S. Navy is now actively working to deny Iran the ability to financially benefit from controlling those waters, and the pressure is mounting fast. The most alarming development in this standoff is Iran's claim that it has laid sea mines across parts of the strait, warning international carriers to stay out of what it calls a hazardous zone. If true, this would be an extraordinary escalation, one that could bring global shipping to a halt. However, as of now, the United States has found no evidence to confirm these claims. No ship has been struck, and no mine has been physically discovered. Military experts have outlined the types of mines Iran could potentially deploy: floating mines near the surface, moored mines anchored to the ocean floor, and the most dangerous kind, limpet mines that attach directly to the hull of a vessel and detonate on contact. In the shallow waters of the Persian Gulf, any one of these could cause catastrophic damage, but the key word remains could. Right now, Iran's mine threat may be more psychological than physical, a calculated move to create fear and disrupt shipping without firing a single shot. To counter any potential mine threat, the U.S. Navy has deployed advanced technology, including drone-based sensor devices capable of moving through the water to detect, identify, and neutralize sea mines before they can pose any danger to naval or commercial vessels. Minesweepers, destroyers, and littoral combat ships are already being positioned. But even with all this military capability, experts acknowledge there is always a margin of risk. The concern is that Iran may not even have a disciplined record of where its own mines are placed, meaning even a negotiated resolution may not immediately make the strait safe. One or two mines going off could change everything. The situation demands extreme caution from every vessel attempting to transit the region. The crisis is not only a military one, it is deeply economic. International shipping companies are required to carry insurance for their cargo, and right now, insurers are not confident enough to cover ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. When you're carrying millions of dollars worth of goods and cannot secure insurance, the safest business decision is to simply not sail. This is precisely what Iran is counting on, using the threat of danger, whether real or perceived, to strangle global trade without engaging in direct combat. The Wall Street Journal's editorial board has noted that this blockade is creating an immediate economic crisis for Iran as well. According to analyst Mr. Maliki, Iran has only around 13 to 16 days to restore its oil exports before the damage becomes irreversible. If the blockade holds for 2 months, Iran's government could face an inability to pay salaries, potentially triggering public riots and defections within the regime itself. Retired General Keith Kellogg, speaking on the situation, made clear that the current blockade is just one phase of a larger strategy. The next step, he warned, could involve direct military action, including the possibility of U.S. Marines seizing strategic locations like Karg Island if Iran continues to escalate. However, Kellogg also raised a deeper and more troubling concern: the question of who is actually in charge in Iran. Reports have surfaced that the Iranian representatives who attended recent negotiations did not even have the authority to sign or agree to any deal. Supreme Leader Khamenei has remained publicly silent. Iran's president has been speaking, but his real power is limited. The Revolutionary Guards, hardline, anti-American, and deeply ideologically driven, remain a dominant force. Kellogg's assessment was blunt. The U.S. is not dealing with a unified government capable of making and honoring a peace deal. What exists in Iran today is regime adjustment, not regime change. And without genuine change, any agreement reached may be fragile at best. President Trump, in a recent interview with Maria Bartiromo, expressed cautious optimism, describing Iran's new leadership as more reasonable by comparison and suggesting that a great deal could still be reached. But analysts and military experts are far less confident. The Wall Street Journal has reported that hardliners and religious conservatives have actually strengthened their grip on power within Iran, raising serious doubts about whether any lasting peace agreement is possible. A ceasefire is currently in place and is being evaluated day by day. The U.S. Navy continues to sweep the strait. Diplomatic talks remain ongoing, But until there is clarity on who holds real decision-making authority in Tehran, and until the mine threat is fully resolved, the world will be watching the Strait of Hormuz very closely. The next move belongs to President Trump, and the stakes could not be higher.